my name is Veronica, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. How did that one do?
That was very good. Do just maybe one or two more, okay?
This guy got me calling him the Mexican monk. Everybody's scared of this guy. I hear you saying you want to fight.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So David Benavidez has truly earned that title of the Mexican Monster. David Benavidez is one of the most avoided fighters in the sport of boxing today. A lot of fighters, they say that they would fight him, but no one is planning on fighting him next. David Benavidez, he wants to fight all of these guys as soon as possible. He doesn't want to wait. David, he wants to replace Canelo Alvarez as the next big Mexican star. And in order for him to do that, he has to beat the names. Just like Andrade and Charlo, they needed Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. But now fighters like Andrade and Charlo, they can fight David Benavidez and they could still get the same type of credit that they would have gotten if they would have beat Canelo Alvarez, because David Benavidez is the most avoided fighter. He's the most dangerous fighter at 168. I'm not saying the win would have been as big, if they were to beat Canelo Alvarez before Bivol did it, but it would definitely catapult their career if one of them would have moved up to 168 to beat the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. That clip I just played for you guys, that was Jamal Charlo talking to Mike Tyson, explaining why he's not fighting David Benavidez right now. Jamal said his value is too low right now.
Benavidez, would you fight him?
I fight him for sure. Yeah.
Then why you not getting?
You said he fight anybody. He ready.
Right. You know that.
I know, but why they not letting you fight this guy? This guy got me calling him the Mexican monk. Everybody's scared of this guy. I hear you saying you want to fight.
I just think his value is low. It's not worth as much as
fighting a fight like
Canelo. I'd rather.
Listen, guys, the only way it makes sense to say something like that is if Jamal Charlo is going to be fighting against Canelo Alvarez next. If you're not fighting against Canelo Alvarez, then that would mean that Jamal would have to be fighting someone who is valued more than a David Benavidez, because this is the exact reason why Jamal said he's not taking that fight right now. You see, it can't be Majestulecki because that fighter has a very low value, according to Jamal Charlo's logic. And understand this, guys. Jamal Charlo, he doesn't fight at 168, where David Benavidez fights. He fights at 160, but the problem is Jamal, he put more pressure on himself to move up and fight David Benavidez when he initiated the challenge. He was the first person to start mentioning Benavidez's name. So once again, the only way it will make sense for you not to be fighting David Benavidez is if your next opponent is someone of a higher value. If you're fighting against a bigger name that's going to get you paid more than a David Benavidez fight would pay you. And then you have Demetrius Andrade, who used to be arguably the biggest boogeyman in the sport of boxing. Well, he just announced that he's going to be moving up to 168. He's the WBO middleweight champion right now, so moving up to 168 was supposed to automatically make him the mandatory at 168 for Canelo Alvarez's WBO belt. For some reason, the WBO, they ordered Demetrius Andrade to fight Zach Parker to become Canelo Alvarez's mandatory. He was scheduled to take on that fight, but he pulled out of that fight. Demetrius, he said he had an injury. Andrade, he went live and he answered some questions. Matter of fact, I have the video. I just uploaded it. It's on my channel. So watch it if you guys missed it, because he talks about a lot of different things. But in that live feed, he actually said, I'm supposed to be Canelo's mandatory at 168. Then he said he's taking a risk going overseas to fight this guy, Zach Parker. This is what he just said in this live video that he did. And then when he was asked about fighting against David Benavidez, he said a fight like that takes time to make. And then he started to call out Chris Eubank. But the fact that Demetrius Andrade is a free agent right now, the David Benavidez fight would be a very easy fight to make, and it is way bigger than a Chris Eubank fight. Now, the Chris Eubank fight would be a great segue into taking on the David Benavidez fight, but when it comes to comparing opponents, The Eubanks fight doesn't come close to how big a Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez fight would be. You're talking about two undefeated champions, at least the middleweight champion versus the super middleweight champion. Boogeyman versus Boogeyman. It gets no bigger than that, unless Demetrius Andrade is getting the Canelo Alvarez fight. I still believe Demetrius Andrade, he will take that fight if push comes to shove, but for some reason he definitely made it seem like he was more interested in fighting Chris Eubanks as opposed to fighting David Benavidez. Now we talk about who I believe is the most talented fighter all around at the super middleweight division right now, and that is David Morrell. Now, I thought that David Morrell was going to end up eventually becoming the new boogeyman at super middleweight. You know, he started to mention fighting David Benavidez. He said it a couple of times, but now David Benavidez and his team, they are actually pushing for a David Morrell fight because once again, David is in like a Devin Haney situation. David just wants to fight whoever is available when it comes to dangerous opponents. So he's willing to take on whoever is willing to get in the ring and sign the contract with him. Granted, it's a big challenge. The exact same thing that Devin Haney is willing to do. So once David Benavidez and his team found out that David Morrell was calling him out, guess what they did? They sent David Morrell a contract. And according to Team Benavidez, ever since they sent out the contract, David Morrell has been missing in action. He never replied, never responded. Matter of fact, let me quote exactly what Jose Benavidez said in this recent interview that he just did in Spanish. This is the translation. He said, "We're duck hunting all the ducks that are out there. The duck Charlo, the duck Berlanga, the duck David Morrell, and the duck Caleb Plant. You understand? They all don't want to fight. They don't want to know anything. We sent a contract to David Morrell to fight. He had said he wanted to fight, that he was going to give David a beating. But as soon as we responded, he got lost, and we can't find him. If someone is watching, let us know his whereabouts and call 911 or call me so I can contact him because he got lost somewhere. Caleb Plant is also out there talking a lot. We're ready for Caleb Plant. David Morrell, with Charlo, with whoever. David is training and he is ready." End quote. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm telling you guys right now, if any of these fighters that David Benavidez's people are calling out right now, if they are desperate to get a breakthrough type of performance against the biggest challenge, and they end up never getting that type of opponent, they have no one to blame but themselves. Because David Benavidez is willing to fight all of these guys, and it would be the best opportunity for all of these fighters. Once again, if you cannot get the Canelo Alvarez fight, the David Benavidez fight, it makes all the sense in the world. I truly believe one of these guys, they're going to step to the plate eventually. I just hope it's before David moves up to 175 and ends up going after Bivol, which is another great fight. But it would be a shame if none of these guys fight against David Benavidez at 168. Let's see who takes the challenge. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at Scalp Carolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, a before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, Scalp Carolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures and he looked at them and I was like, can you fix this? And you know, he pretty much said, no problem. My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started and during the whole treatment, we talked and you know, about our families and our life and, you know, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, South Carolinas, to get this done.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.